Good morning, everyone. It is the final day in Canada. We are just going to be traveling today. I just left the gym. We're leaving at 1:30. It's about 1 o'clock right now. Then we're going to head to the airport. Pretty much going to be traveling on an airplane all day. Probably won't be very exciting. But we're going to talk about the show yesterday. The show went perfect. We got to rehearsals at 8 a.m. By about 10 o'clock, we had the entire show down. Actually, maybe even earlier. By 11 o'clock, we ran the whole show through. Probably the fastest we've ever put together a show. And at 1 o'clock, we did our tech rehearsal. 1 o'clock, we did a full run through. 3 o'clock, we did a tech rehearsal. Came back at 5 o'clock to do atmosphere, which is basically you just kind of walk around the event and just talk to people, get them excited for the show. It was for a charity, so I believe it was for children with disabilities. It was for, I think it was called Variety. Not quite sure. But it was for a good cause. It was a huge event. They had this bid going on for, it was an auction for cars and trips and stuff. People were dropping $50,000. Anyways, it was a really fun event, though. So our show was at 9:30, and it went pretty much perfect. Everyone did their job. No one fell. Sorry, actually, Dave under-rotated a front flip on the very last trick. I was so exhausted by the end of the show, and we had all cotton mouth because the air was super dry. It's there's no way Dave's going to be able to do this front flip right now. And he just came up a little bit short, ran out of it just fine, didn't fall, didn't get hurt. And other than that, the show was perfect. The tumble track number really exhausted me. I jumped off my scooter, did this gainer across the... I'll show it right here. Did a gainer across onto the tumble track. Did some tumble track, which is way more tiring than scootering is because you're running and you're jumping and you're not on wheels. So that's pretty much like doing straight cardio. After that, finished off, did a finale number, which is we did a lot of doubles. Kyle did a flip while I did a flare. Looks really cool. And yeah, show went perfect. Client loved it. I feel like everyone at the event was completely mind blown by the stuff we were doing. And really, we only put a few hours of rehearsal into it. And it turned out really good. So that's how it went yesterday. Today is going to be kind of boring. Lots of traveling. Airport video. Here we go. Back to carrying 2 backpacks. Should have just paid for a bag. Bye, Mandy.
Bye. Let me know.
It. Okay, that work. Made it to the airport. So we're 2 hours early for our flight. It only took us about 5 minutes to go through immigration, customs, whatever you call it. So now I'm just going to be doing some editing and finish up yesterday's video. Cheers. We have our entire airport to ourselves. Just made it on the airplane. Coco, sitting next to Coco again. Super tiny plane. Look at how small that thing is. It's only 50 feet long. This plane is a monster. There's 2 sides, 8 rows wide. Definitely the biggest plane I've ever been on. This is by far the healthiest plane meal I've ever had in my life. It's hummus. It's got the snacks.
Almonds, baby.
Backpack on front and on back. Gotta get the scooter.
Bye.